What's going on, guys, and welcome back to DriveHub. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a little experiment with the Corvette. Yes, I know. We're working on the Corvette once again. What we're going to be doing is replacing the HID headlight bulbs that are in the C5 now and replacing them with these Boslla LED bulbs. But we're going to do a little comparison first. I'm going to leave one side as HID bulbs and the other side I'm going to install the Boslla LED bulbs. Because I get this question a ton. What's brighter, HID or LED? So I thought today was the perfect opportunity to try and test this and see for myself and show you guys. So as I said, one side we're going to leave the HID bulbs in, the other side we're going to put LED bulbs in. And then later tonight when it's dark out, we're going to go for a drive and see which one's brighter. I'll include a link for the Boslla LED bulbs that I'm using down in the description below so you can check them out. And it's very windy outside, so we're actually going to do this install in the garage. And with the garage door shut, we'll actually be able to do a little test beforehand to see which one's brighter at a wicked close distance. So we're going to pull my dad's C6 out of the garage, put my C5 in. Let's get to it. Now the bulbs we're going to be using for Corvette low beams, again, these are Boslla bullet headlights. Now I'll be going into more detail in my next video about what's so cool about these bulbs. Basically, these can go from bright white to a lower shade of white to yellow to then flashing yellow in like an emergency beam pattern. That's why you'll see it's one color on this side and one color on the other side. So that's a very, very cool feature of these, and I'll be exploring that a little bit more in my next video. So we're going to put one of these in one side of the car, take out one of the HIDs that are in it. Let's get started. I feel like this is the 1000th time that I've had these headlights out of the car. So basically, I'm not going to do like a full step-by-step process on technically how to remove the headlights and replace them with LEDs. In this case, I'll do that in the next video where I actually go over and review the headlight bulbs that I'm putting in the car. But if you've watched any of my other videos where I installed LED high beams in this, or when I installed the HIDs in this, it's the same exact process. But in case you want to watch it again, stay tuned for my next video where I'll be going over how to install LED low beams in the C5 Corvette. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Do you think the LEDs are going to be brighter, or do you think the HIDs are going to be brighter? Now, from what I've been reading online, a lot of people say that the HIDs are a little bit brighter and they shoot a little bit further. The downside with HIDs, of course, is they take a little bit to warm up. Now, that's not a huge deal, but what I found was problematic was when I went to go flash my high beams, and when I put my low beams back on after flashing someone, that sounded wrong. When I put my low beams back on, they wouldn't come on for a little while. They stayed really dim, and it was like the warm-up time increased. So none of that made sense to me, but with LEDs at least, I have LEDs in my Jeep Wrangler. Everything is instant, it's so quick, and they're extremely bright. So I don't see how this could be a downgrade in any way going from HIDs to LEDs, but there's something very cool about these Boslla bulbs that no other LED bulb that I know of do. Again, I'll talk about that in my next video. Now let's just focus on getting the LEDs in this one. I'm still curious to see the difference in color and all that. Friendly job for people with big hands, that's for sure, but like I said, I am a trained idiot, professional. There's the HID. You got the new LEDs. Now, as I said, the number for these is HB4, and the funny thing is, I just noticed when you're looking at the factory headlight housing, I'm not sure if you can see that, it's focused in, right there, it says HB4. And on the other side it says HB3. That's the high beam bulb. HB4 is the low beam bulb. I'm not sure if every other car has that in their headlight housing. Now I do already have Boslla LED high beams in the Corvette right now, if you watched my other video. So now we're going to go ahead and throw in the LED low beam and see how it compares to an HID. Now the LED, you do have to plug in this little harness. Just plugs in, there's a male and female end, then you thread on this little collar to secure it. I'm capped in over tightened, so I'm going to make sure that it's nice and tight. Okay, it's plugged in. I'm just going to do a quick test before I actually thread it in. And I can't tell if it's working. Doesn't look like it is, so I'm going to flip it around and try that. So guys, that is a problem that you can have with LED bulbs, is the polarity of where you have it plugged in will decide if the bulb comes on or not. I had a problem with these. Turns out I had the connector in upside down and it won't work. It's not a problem with the LEDs, it's not a problem with the bulb, it's a matter of polarity. I think that's the right word. We'll give that a whirl. Okay, I did it. The bulb is extremely bright, it's working. Oh, you can actually feel and hear the little tiny fan on the back working. So all I had to do to get it to work, as I said, I had this connector in wrong right there. Once I figured that out, the light still didn't work, I just switched the plug around again. That's why it's always good to check, you guys. It's a lot easier to play around with the connections when it's out like this, instead of threading in the bulb, finding out it doesn't work, having to take it out, pull it all out here, mess around, put it back in. Just leave it out here. Don't install it yet. Figure out, make sure that the light works, make sure you have all your connections correct, and then you can put it in. See, I'm not that much of an idiot. And another nice thing about LEDs instead of HIDs is there's no bulky ballast. The ballast is pretty sizable. So now we reassemble the headlight housing, or the headlight shroud I should say. Wait till it's a little bit darker out and see which one of these is brighter. Guys, so we are back in the garage and it's finally dark out. With the garage door shut, I just want to see what the difference is. Now, as I said, con of the HID, it had to warm up a little bit. It looks like it's warmed up now and at full brightness. As compared to the LED, it's instant full power, but I don't know if you guys can hear this. You can hear the fan going. I mean, that really doesn't matter because you're going to have the engine on anyways when you have your headlights on, most likely. Here's a little up close of the difference in color. HID is definitely a little more blue in my opinion. The LED appears to me to have a much more focused beam. Then again, you're not really supposed to put an HID bulb in a regular housing. You're supposed to have a special housing. I was told about that in the comments when I installed them. I know because we're indoors, some of this light's going to bounce around and stuff, so we're going to pull the car out of the garage, flip it around, and point it against the garage doors on the outside so that we don't get any of this scatter that we have because we're inside. Now that we're outside and none of the lights scattering around, you can see it looks like the LED definitely has a more focused beam to it. Again, HID's got a little bit more of a blue tint to it. In terms of brightness, it's kind of hard to tell. What we're going to do now is go out on the road and see how it looks when we're moving. Alright guys, so honestly for me, it's a complete toss-up on the HID or the LED. When you're driving along even, it's very difficult to pick. To me, at a close distance, the HID definitely had a more scattered pattern than the LED. And again, I got a lot of crap for installing HIDs in factory housings because they just kind of scatter the light and it can kind of blind people. There's no focused beam of light. With the LED, it definitely seemed a little more focused to me. And honestly, if I had to pick right now, HID or LED, all things considered, I'd probably go LED. And the main reason behind that is because LEDs have a much greater longevity, from what I've read, than HIDs. And I come from a Jeep background. I still have my Jeep Wrangler, and I have all sorts of LED lights on it, and none of them have ever given me any sort of issue. They've gone through some really tough conditions. Here in New Hampshire, brutal winters. I've never had an issue with them. So with all that said, I want to hear what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments which one you guys prefer, LED or HID. Again, I'm pretty torn, but if I had to choose one, I'd probably go LED. Another plus of the LEDs, they use less power. So, I mean, that's just another mark for the LEDs. Shout out to Boslla for sending me the LED lights to try out. I'll include a link for them down in the description below. As I said already, I also have Boslla high beam LEDs outfitted in the Corvette. And stay tuned for my video review of the Boslla 4-color LED. Those bulbs do some really cool stuff and I'm excited to show you guys. So again, thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Happy motoring.